I think it needs to carry on. I think there's a lot to do with implementing, and perhaps we should consider probably looking at new term of council, just where we would go with that. And do we change the name? Does the task force change, or how does it work? And Randy, maybe if I can ask you to comment on that, please.
For sure. Thank you for that, Chair Carleton. And based on that discussion from this morning, we looked at the terms of reference for the climate change task force, and it didn't provide a specific end period for the task force. And similar to what Chair Carleton indicated, we see at least for the remainder of this term, the ability to have these discussions that we've had here today to be able to move forward with the actual implementation components of the climate change action plan. And then I think what we've discussed as staff is revisiting all the various task force and subcommittees. What does that look like in the new term? So I think that's something that I know that Tara and Kim and myself and others have started thinking about and talking about in terms of what can that look like. And we want to have that discussion with council, of course, in terms of getting your input in terms of what those various task force and subcommittees look like going forward. So whether or not we have some of these discussions with an implementation group or a task force, or should it be with all of council when we move forward with some of these discussions going forward? So, but as it currently stands, we see at least till the end of this term, having these important discussions to be able to move forward with some of the implementation of the climate change action plan, and then revisiting it with as part of the new council term to see where we go with all the various task force and subcommittees. I don't know if Kim and Tara have anything further to add with respect to that, but that's where we are currently at in terms of looking at all this in terms of how we move forward.
Thank you. Any other comments, Kim?
No, this is the conversation that I've had with the senior management team.
Excellent. Thank you. Deputy Warden McQueen, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I was quite inspired by your two items that you raised and had on the agenda today. And I was thinking about trees, and I don't know if there's an opportunity to have an arborist or somebody come, because we see so much in the agricultural side of trees being removed, but we see so much benefit of having trees as far as windbreaks and you create trees slow down wind, they slow down erosion, they slow down a lot of things. I understand the 10-acre fields is one thing, but certainly boundary trees and and I don't know if there's something that would, like the turn of the century, if you look at any photos of anything, there's no trees. Like, it's like you look at the Beaver Valley and just no trees. It's just stripped right off, because at that time trees were forestry, there were heat, there were a lot of things. And I think there's a bit of a history where the federal government created a program that incentivized farmers to plant trees. And you'll find a lot of farms have, I know if Pat is on the call, he'd say those damn trees that are along the front of those fence rows, but there was incentives to create trees to come back and boundary trees and that type of thing. I don't know if there's somebody could come and speak to that, because I look at on the agricultural side, I remember there was about a spring about 8 years ago where it was a very dry spring, and southwestern Ontario was like a dust bowl, because more and more crops are being tilled and your soil and stuff like that. And anyway, it's just a thought on the agricultural side, because I know the agricultural side is something that we also are a big part of in Grey County, and not just, there's so many benefits of fence row trees, in the sense that from wind erosion, soil erosion, just there's so many different things. Even if you're looking at the fruit trees, or where trees, they'll plant, if they have a plantation of apples, you'll see sometimes there's a row of poplar trees planted beside it, because it breaks the wind, it shelters those trees and creates maybe a climate of maybe 1 or 2 degrees higher if there's a frost. There's so many things that I don't know enough about, but I just think that if that's a small part of maybe in the future of us educating our population in Grey County about the benefits of trees and how how to make trees your benefit, it's a win-win. I think there's a lot, and not just coming from a perspective that I see, but it's just an idea, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments then? So our next meeting date is to be determined. I will call for a mover for adjournment, please. Warden Hicks, seconded by Councillor Hutchison. All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good
Thanks.
afternoon.